We got another question here from Country Roads. What do you think of AEW? And I was actually going to ask you, do you watch a lot of what's going on these days in either WWE, AEW, TNA?
I
Um,
do.
okay. And what do you think of AEW?
I have a hard time watching the spots they do at AEW. I mean, every time I see them do something, it's just stuff that we would have gotten fired over. We
Really?
would have gotten fired over it. When you see like a spot, which is like a move they're going to do, it's a spot. The spot they do where like five guys are waiting for a 160-pound guy to jump off on them. I mean, it just cringes my skin to watch that because it's not real, it's not reality, but the moves are so unbelievably cool. I think my new favorite wrestler is Will Ospreay.
He's great. He is a very talented individual.
Like a AJ Styles type, but AJ's got charisma too, but this kid's got a ton of charisma. I think he's my favorite. He really is great in the ring. Kyle Fletcher and him had a match the other night, and I watched them. And for me to even know those two names tells you I watch AEW. And they tie it together and they make it entertaining. But there's just to me last night there was way too many false finishes and way too many, flip flop flying. If they would just cut those in half, it would have been spectacular. And that's my opinion. So, everybody's got one of those, but I really still enjoy the product. I enjoy both products, the WWE and AEW. And I just enjoy watching wrestling and just sitting there and it's very much entertainment to me and I love it.
Excellent. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the false finishes. I feel like that's something that is, something that you see a lot in the newer generation of wrestlers and just the product in general these days. I go back to watching, you do like a blockbuster. How many times did guys kick out of a blockbuster? Very, very, very few,
Very
if
few. Yeah,
ever.
okay.
Yeah,
But when you did, it meant something,
exactly. Yeah. It
and
carried
that's
the
what
storyline or
Jake's big argument with DDTs were they just became a high spot.
sure.
That was a finishing move. They would hit you with a DDT blockbuster and then roll you up and pin you. So they just didn't do the storyline right with the stuff. But it's just to me, I remember getting in trouble for covering a guy too many times because, like for example, during a comeback, you do hot tag and you do clothesline, elbow, run the guys' heads together. If you covered right there, the crowd, boom, gone,
Sure.
dead. But so I never covered a person during the comeback, and I would get in trouble for not covering them at least once. But he goes, Mark, you got to try to win. If you don't look like you're trying to win, what are you doing? And I understood that, but it wasn't worth the crowd losing the crowd. So if you ever watched a comeback by Mark Bagwell, it was clothesline, elbow, double head knocker, and into the next move, maybe, and then a faulty for boom, but just one or two false finishes a match. There was 10 incredible false finishes, but 10 of them last night, and a great match. But you
For
make
sure.
that two false finishes, and I think it'd have been a much better match.
Yeah, I think it kinda interrupts it, when they have all that, and I think of Cody Rhodes, I'm a huge fan of him, I love the Crossroads, but, man, he pulls his move out, I don't know how many times in a match, and it almost dilutes it to where, all right, it's not it doesn't have that same impact, and it's along the lines of what Jake said about the DDT, and I will say this, there's nothing more devastating for any DDT than the way that Jake does that, nobody touches him with the DDT, but
Right.
yeah, it dilutes it, and it makes it seem like the move just doesn't have the same merit that it would have,
Sure.
if they didn't have as many false finishes, so
I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan, but I don't like to me, it looks like Cody's taking much more of the punishment on the Crossroads than he's given the punishment. But the crowd loves it and the fans love it.
sure.
But he does, I feel like that, and again, it ain't up to him, it's up to the writers a lot of times, but he does go to it a little too much. But again, that's an opinion. So You know, he's the world champ, and I love that. He's well deserves it. I'm glad to see him carrying it.